My name is Lorraine Riojas Huizar. I'm 42 years old. This is me sharing a very personal story that I had a chance to read at 2019's Listen to Your Mother show here in San Antonio. Thank you.
When you hear someone say, "My mom's a lifesaver," you often think of scenarios like babysitting our kids for us while we're at work, taking care of us while we're sick, or even just making sure we've eaten something on a busy day. Here, sit down, eat. My mom does those type of things for me every day, and maybe so does everyone else's. But sometimes when I hear that, I think of something else. Not many people can say that their mom has literally saved their life. I can. As a kid, I noticed my mom struggling with something. I didn't know at the time, but I now realize she was suffering from anxiety and depression. There would be nights of her pacing the house, trying to get rid of that anxious feeling of needles and tingling going up and down her arms so that she can sleep. Even crying spells that would interrupt her during the day. In the 90s, San Antonio had a wave of gang violence that flooded through our town. With more than 1,200 drive-bys in 1993 alone, our city was nicknamed the Drive-By City. Wannabe gangsters fighting to kill each other for nothing more than a color and a name. Sad to say that our family and friends got caught up in it, guilty by association. We had already become a victim to our first drive-by. Pop, 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 pop. A quick drive up left 5 holes throughout our house. Luckily, I wasn't there that day, and I hoped I wouldn't have to experience anything like that. I was only 15 years old. So later, after that first hit on our house happened, you can only imagine how my mom's anxiety had escalated. One day, while my brother was out in the streets, I went into his room to hang out, only because it was equipped with a private phone line and cable TV. My mom came in the room with a piece of plywood. She was trying to put it in the window, and I asked, "What is that for?" "It's for protection in case they come back," she said. I laughed and said, Mom, if they're gonna come back, the bullets are gonna pierce through that piece of wood." But she still put it through the window. At around 11:30 p.m. one night, I found myself in my brother's room again. As a boy-crazed teen, I wanted to be on the phone with my boyfriend, Angel. I remember going back and forth between the kitchen and my brother's room because we had separate phone lines. My ex-boyfriend was calling on the kitchen line, and my new boyfriend was calling on the other. At the same time, my mom was anxiously waiting for my brother and my sister-in-law to come home from visiting family on the next street. She finally decided to give in and take her anxiety pills so that she could sleep. All the while, I was in the room with the door closed and the music on. She was finishing up in the kitchen. That's when she heard barking from the dogs next door. She assumed that it was my brother and my sister-in-law coming home, so she walked to the front door to unlock it. She looked outside. When she looked outside, it wasn't them walking up. Instead, it was dark silhouettes of what looked like men running towards our house with guns in their hands. She ran down the hallway towards her room to pull Dad to the floor. She hit the door to the room that I was in and yelled, "Get down!" As a stupid teen, I didn't want to let go of the phone, and I didn't want to believe that a shooting could happen again. "Who's yelling?" my boyfriend asked. "Oh, it's just Mom. She's paranoid from the first shooting." Then I heard my mom yell again, "Lorraine, get down!" By that point, I'd gotten down on my knees, still with the receiver up against my ear. The only thing that was separating me from the people outside was the TV and the plywood that my mom had put in the window. Mom yelled one last time with all her might, "Lorraine, stay down!" I tucked myself into fetal position, receiver clutched tight against my ear, and that's when I heard the first shotgun blast. Boom! The glass sprinkled all around me like confetti of fear. I could hear the sounds of outside like chicharras. It was quiet for a minute, and then it started up again. I could hear nothing but gunfire over and over. "Angel, Angel, Angel," I repeated. "Stay down," he kept on saying, "stay down." Then everything went quiet. I stayed in fetal position for what felt like forever, too afraid to look up, too afraid to do anything. I thought for sure the door was going to open and I was going to be shot, dead. I could hear our neighbors from down the street running up to our house and yelling, "They're coming back! They're coming back!" The shooters drove up the street, turned around, and not only shot at our house again, but also to the people that were coming to help us. Thank God it wasn't our day to die, and those guys were eventually caught. And it wasn't a gang member that opened the door to the room that night. It was my mom. Mom who had put the plywood in the window, mom who had been pacing and couldn't sleep, mom who prayed for protection for our family every night, and mom who warned me 3 times to get down when everything was happening. We have real-life angels watching over us. I believe my mom is one. Maybe that's why she had been struggling with anxiety. Maybe that's why she was exceptionally worried that night. Her mother's intuition wouldn't allow her to relax and go to sleep without knowing her family was safe. We had protection from an evil act that night and have been protected for many years now. Had I not listened to my mom that night, I don't think I'd be sharing this with you right now. So thanks, Mom, for giving me life, keeping me safe, and for always being there for me. Thanks, Mom. You're a lifesaver.